Welcome back to my car cave. I've got a new model here I'm super excited about. It's one I've been waiting for probably, all year. This is the McLaren MCL60 from the 2023 season, so we're going back in time a little bit, but given this past weekend's British Grand Prix from 2025, I think it's fitting. This is the 2023 British Grand Prix, and the one where they introduced the now Chrome livery that they've been using each year since. This is the first appearance of the Chrome livery, so I was super excited when they released it. I was excited it was coming out in the model, and it's the one I really want to have for my 2023 McLaren. I do have the Triple Crown livered one, but this is the one I think I'm going to settle on at the end of the day. This one is a Minichamps limited edition, 204. Comes in this nice livered box with a picture of the car. Basic information. This is a resin model here on the bottom. But yeah, these are the standard McLaren resin model boxes for Minichamps, and even better, I actually also have the Spark version from the exact same race, so we're going to be able to compare what the Spark and the Minichamps look like side by side. Again, I haven't looked at either of them in person, so I'm super excited to finally check them out. Okay, now we've got the models out of the box. Let's go ahead and talk about them. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do this video. I've already done a long-winded, like 24-minute video on Spark versus Minichamps using the AMR 23 Aston Martin. I don't want to repeat myself. The manufacturing really doesn't change too much on these models from year to year, so I think making that checklist, the winners are going to be the same winners. So, Spark's going to have a better wing, and Minichamps are going to have a better tire. That's all going to be the same. Minichamps you get a better box. It's a livery box, kind of cool. With Spark, you get this little placard from the race, plus you get the acrylic cover, so there's more value for the money. So I don't want to repeat myself with that. So I think what I'd rather do is just focus on the execution of this particular livery. It's a difficult one. You have this chrome paint, chrome helmet, that kind of stuff that just makes this livery a little more unique, probably a little bit harder to execute. And I think if we focus on that, hopefully that helps individuals who might be considering either the Minichamps or the Spark for their collection. Okay, before we talk about the livery, let's talk about some of the physical differences of these two models. It's the same car from the same race, so they should be exactly the same, but they're just not. And really, most of that is going on back here. On the Minichamps, the first thing I notice is on either side of this spine or shark fin here, there's two little heat or air vents there. And then if you look on the Spark version here, you'll notice that there are three of these little vents here on either side. I in fact think that the 3 vent is accurate for the race. The 2 vent was more commonly used in the practice sessions. Next up, you have the rear wing here. On the Minichamps version, the lowest of the lower wing planes is a kind of a flat edge one with this sculpted one above it on either side of the exhaust pipe. But for the Spark version here, you'll notice they have the lowest version is kind of that same sculpted one like you see on the Minichamps. Then they have this upper one that's a little bit further forward, and it's pretty flat, and then kind of V's down on either side of the exhaust pipe there. And this is in fact the accurate one for the race. So I think Minichamps just took a generic one, probably used on a different mold, and then on the Spark one, they actually had the accurate one from that particular GP. Then, another kind of obvious difference here from a mold point of view is this downwash area here. They're both sculpted, but the Minichamps one just is not as deep as the one on Spark is, and I feel like the Spark one here again is more accurate. So if you look in here, hopefully I can get it on camera, this is a much deeper groove in here, and I think it's much more accurate to the actual design of the McLaren. Hopefully you can see that in there, much more so than the the Minichamps version. So again, that's a big kind of a big detail that I think Spark executed much more accurately than Minichamps. So that's kind of the highlight of the main physical differences between these two cars. There are a lot of other cosmetic differences that we'll go over, but yeah, I think Spark actually has a more accurate mold here for this particular example. Okay, so now let's get into the main discussion, which is the execution of the livery. And there's unfortunately a lot to discuss about both models. Um, we could start with just some decal placement issues or differences. If you look here, the chrome decal here is split between two wing planes. Then that's the Minichamps, and then on the Spark here, it's on the lower wing plane only. It's not split between two. And both are accurate. However, I do feel like for the race, this is the way it was raced. I can find plenty of photos that look like this on either, show cars or practice wings and that kind of stuff that were used during the practice sessions or qualifying or whatever. So I've seen both, but I do feel like for the race that Spark probably has some more accurate version. Coming back here, the number 4 here is pretty small on the Spark one. I think it's too small. It's pretty oversized here on the Minichamps one, to the point of probably being too large. In fact, so the accurate answer is somewhere in the middle. Then here on the rear wing, this accelerating Web 3, it's kind of more centered. It's a larger font here on the Spark. And then here on the Minichamps, it's a little bit pushed towards the back of the main wing plane. And it's just not as big a font, and I actually think that the Spark version here again is probably more accurate. So so far, Spark looking a little bit more accurate, but then we get to fun stuff like this, where this one from Minichamps comes with the Velo decals already included and on the model. So this model is good right out of the box. I don't have to do anything to it, which I do enjoy putting on decals, but it's an added cost of having to go buy some. This makes the car look, accurate from the get-go. You got the Velo here, you got it on the inside of the front wing end plates, and then you got it down here on the side as well. Whereas the Spark looks a lot more naked, for lack of a better term, and just doesn't look right here. So I'm gonna have to go buy decals to make this right. And the last time I did it, they didn't come with the ones here for the Triple Crown. So yeah, a little bit, it's just added expense. That's kind of apparently unnecessary because Minichamps is able to do it. So that's a difference right there. Then moving on to probably the let's say carbon fiber. Carbon fiber, that's I always land on Minichamps. I'm going to land on Minichamps again this time around, but probably for a little bit different reasons. I will say the details here are just way easier to see visually. You can see the checkerboard pattern here. They have some striation patterns up front, and I just it looks great. It's kind of a matte tone to it, and it's well executed. It sits on the resin really well. You can see the creases very nicely. You can see some of the rivets in there, and even here, I think these two boxes outside is a plain black, and I think they were digitized, and you were able to flash up different liveries and or different logos or sponsors during races and stuff like that periodically during the 2023 season. However, here on the Spark version, it's actually a carbon fiber decal, which is not accurate. They still have the chrome in there, but the carbon fiber texture shouldn't be there. The carbon fiber decals don't sit as nicely in the creases of the body here on this particular side of this model here. And the carbon fiber decals here are they're ironically too glossy. I've always complained that Spark has been too dull, and now they're too glossy. So, I guess there's no winning with me when it comes to Spark and carbon fiber. The decal or the detail of the carbon fiber it's too hard to see with the naked eye. This frankly looks like, kind of a semi-gloss black at any reasonable distance, including, me looking at it right now. They do, however, do some nice, they have some striations here, some kind of herringbone kind of look here. This, checkerboard pattern here looks really nice. So they got a lot of different variety of carbon fiber patterns. It's just the decal is just not as good as it is from Minichamps. So then moving on to what to me is probably one of the more glaring differences in these two cars is the color of this orange. I was quite shocked when I opened the model to find this Minichamps has this day glow orange here. I'm not sure that it's going to come out correctly here on the video. It's a bright fluorescent looking orange, and I frankly don't know that that's accurate or inaccurate. I have not seen these cars race in person. This is much like the Aston Martin situation where I couldn't tell you which green is actually correct. I can find photos to support both of them, but my guess is I'm going to find way more photos supporting the Spark version of this papaya orange. This is a more traditional matte papaya look. It looks a lot more like what I see on TV. It's probably not as attractive here on the model as the fluorescent day glow version, but it's probably the more accurate one here. So it's a little weird. I'm not sure what's going on here between the two models, but this is exactly like the Aston Martin situation. I don't know which one is actually correct. Then moving on to the chrome element. The chrome paint. So this is where I think Minichamps flat out just wins on this particular model. Their chrome, paint here it's flawless. It looks nice and chromy, for lack of a better word. It's smooth. There's no kind of dimples or orange peel in there. I just think it looks right, and I think, to be clear, from here to down around here, that's what's painted chrome. Everything else is a decal. And when you get down to the chrome decaling here on the Minichamps, it's more of an aluminum silver look. It's frankly not as good as it is on the Spark. When it comes to the Spark version, it may not be easy to show on camera, but it's just not as shiny. It's just the paint is not as smooth or reflective when you look at it under kind of magnifying glass and stuff like that. It's nice, don't get me wrong, it is nice, but it's just not as good as the Minichamps. That said, the chrome decals here are in fact more chromy and more reflective than they are on the Minichamps, and so I think in these areas, like on the front wing and stuff, it actually does look a lot better. That said, this is all crackling, and I'm not sure if that's bad news or going to portend what's going to be happening to these decals in the future. They don't look great on the side here for sure, but back here they look pretty good. Then on the helmet, this chrome is just not as chromy as it is on the Minichamps version. So all that said, I don't know which of these two models I like better. Which one am I going to sell? I frankly had so much anticipation for this model that I'm feeling a little bit disappointed in both of them. That said, maybe I'll sit back and I'll digest it and figure out which is the right one for me. But maybe you guys can let me know in the comments which one you prefer, which one you like better. They both have inaccuracies. They both have great details in their own ways. So it's just a matter of which one is the right one for the collection. So yeah, go ahead in the comments, let me know, and I'll have some more videos soon.